What's up, guys, and welcome to the Mogu'Shan Palace Healing Guide and kind of general overall guide again. As always, the abilities are going to be scrolling above you. And let's get right into it. This first boss is very, very fun, especially if you've never been in here before. The first time in here, just the artwork and everything in here is really, really nice, guys. So I recommend just taking a look around while you're going through and just really appreciating what Blizzard's done on this one. This fight especially is really cool. You've got this huge crowd of people around you, almost like an arena style battle, like straight out of Gladiator, where you've got three guys that come in and they've all got different abilities to watch out for. So let's get into it, okay? This first boss, and again, they're in random order, so remember that. You won't always get the same order, but they always do the same abilities. So this first boss that we got, he does the whirling devastation, okay? What that means is he will throw, he'll do a meteor. What you have to do is you have to stack up for the meteor, and any players that are within 10 yards, it will share the damage with. So make sure that you're within 10 yards of players. If you see them running away from you, it's okay, just chase them, it'll be funny. They'll think you're trolling them, you're not. That's how you do the fight. So make sure that you stack up for meteor. This next boss, again, this is the boss that does the whirling devastation. I apologize. And what that's going to do is that's going to throw tornadoes on the ground. Again, we want to dodge tornadoes because tornadoes are bad and we don't like tornadoes. We don't want to stand in them. He also does an ability that sucks everybody in and does a bunch of damage until you get spread out. But I actually died so quick in this attempt that he didn't even get the ability off, which was pretty cool. I do apologize for not being able to show you that. So just be aware of that there will be an ability where he sucks everybody in, and you want to make sure to not get caught in that. As you can see, that's what happens when you get hit by the tornado. And I don't know whether it's bugged or not, but the tornado seems to actually hurt the NPCs that are watching as well and knock them back. So I don't know if that's a bug, but just be aware of that as well. The third boss has a dog, and if you remember Shanux from Firelands with Rageface and Riplim, remember the dog that had no aggro table, Mr. Rageface? He's back, okay? And in heroic mode, he's not back with a vengeance. He will randomly target a player and just beat on them. Obviously, if you're targeted, throw down a personal cooldown, but it's nothing that the healer shouldn't be able to heal through. Even if you're the softest of the soft, you should be okay. Just remember to try to help your healer out and throw that on there. He also does a frontal cone ability that you can see on the ground. Just make sure you're not in that, and it should be GG. Again, this is one of those fights where even if you take the avoidable damage, a lot of it won't hurt too bad. Again, you want to target. The bosses drop really, really quick, at least they did in this group, and the dog doesn't really hit that hard. So obviously, as the better gear gets, the quicker this fight's going to go. But just keep in mind, guys, that on this fight, if you can avoid the damage, help out. As a healer, though, you're really going to get bored with that fight. You're probably going to end up DPSing a little bit, which might explain why the boss goes down a little bit quicker, but that's okay. That's our job, is to help. That's, healers are supposed to help and get through the dungeon and make sure everybody's alive and heal people through their mistakes. That's our job, right? Oh, you made a mistake? That's okay. I got you. Okay, the second boss, what he does is he's got 4 groupies with him. And the groupies all have different abilities. What will happen is he will cast a buff onto one of them randomly. So the nicest thing to do is if you can CC everybody, just CC him and start burning on the boss. And as he awakens one, then you switch to that one. Now here's what happens is once he awakens one of his cronies or groupies or whatever you want to call them, they will gain 25% haste, and they will also take 25% more damage. So you really want to switch to them quickly. Not only do you get to cheese the meters a little bit, guys, but it's important to get them down, because especially if you get the caster one up, you want to make sure you're interrupting those and getting them down as quick as possible, because it does hurt. It does somewhat hurt a little bit. When that guy dies, when his first ad dies, he will cast that same ability again and awake the next one and the next one and the next one. There isn't a way to make him not do this. Like, you pretty much, the easiest way to do it is to just understand the mechanics and to just go through and burn each ad. Now the nice thing is that effect stacks. It was bugged a little bit the first couple days, but I'm pretty sure they've got it fixed to where it does stack per guy that he per guy that he awakens. So keep that in mind, that you're gonna want to make sure that you're just burning that ad down the entire time. If you can keep him with the boss and do some cleave damage, never a bad idea either. Cleave damage always helps the DPS. But again, guys, this is one of those fights where if you have a good group with a lot of CC, because you just want to make sure that they're CC'd, because he will break their long-term CC eventually. But the less damage you take at the start, and the more you can focus on burning one head down, the better you're going to do, the quicker you're going to get through it, right? So that one's pretty simple. This third boss, it's not quite the pug killer that Raigon is. And if you've been in pug groups for Raigon before with DPS who go duh, and they don't say that they don't know what they're doing, you'll see. Oh, don't you worry, you'll see. But this boss is actually really, really neat. I'm curious to see how hard it is in challenge mode, because there is a lot of stuff. And again, this is another one of those fights, guys. There's so much stuff. Like, look at all the stuff going on right now. You've got fail. You've got swirling blades of death, which if you hit them will do damage and knock you back. You've got arrows flying all over the room. You've got fire being cast in a circle, and if you stand in that circle, it will hurt extremely badly. And then you've got a frontal cone that the boss does. So the tank's constantly repositioning himself and the boss. You're constantly trying to DPS and heal while moving all the way throughout this without getting hit by these different things. Again, the easiest way to do it is kind of tank him right in the middle of that room, about halfway down the stair, or you can even keep him on the stairs. The problem is there's not a lot of room if you have melee. If you don't have melee, you can kind of get away with it. If you do, it's best to kind of keep him in between where the arrows get the widest, right? Because that's what you want to do. You want to give yourself the most room to play with, and the most room for mistakes. So that's technically the best spot to keep him, is exactly where this tank kept him. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you in the